So we got a lot to talk about. It's gonna be a very, very interesting live. And if this is the type of conversation you want to have, comment. And then we always talk about feminine energy. We're always gonna talk about it. We're always gonna get into what it is, what it's not. So if that is your type of vibe, let me know. And then also, where are y'all from? Where are y'all based? Let me know that as well. I'm always, enjoying just the different energies, the different vibes. I think one of the things I first want to talk about is the whole situation with, and sorry, my light. Hold on, I might have to adjust this a bit. Okay, hold on. So y'all not blind. Okay, there we go. This is much better. So I feel like let's talk about Love is Blind, y'all. If y'all have watched it. And so this is the thing, whenever I talk about these things, I like to talk about it from the perspective of as someone who's married, as someone who talks to a lot of women and men when it comes to relationships. That's just the vibe I go for. So I think the first thing I want to talk about is the whole Ashley and Tyler situation. It's very clear that he has some baby mamas, some issues he has not dealt with. So y'all need to let me know. Like, let me know what y'all think about that situation. I thought it was a little too good to be true, to be honest. I felt like it didn't make sense. And I felt like he was just playing a role. And I think, like, the truth is, when it comes to Black women, I think we're so used to not feeling love, not being seen, really having just challenges with that. So, like, anybody who offers like a little bit of something, anyone that offers a little bit of like, oh, okay, finally, it's my turn. Oh, okay, we answering the questions. Do you believe in love at first sight? That's an interesting question. That's an interesting question about do you believe love at first sight? I don't know if I believe in love at first sight, but I do think, and this is another game changer, I think, for women and men. I think men know before women. I do. I definitely think that women, sorry, I mean men. I think men know more about whether they're into a girl, what they want to do with the woman versus women. I think women, because we have to go through our emotions a little bit, like we have to kind of feel through it, like, okay, am I really feeling him? Or is this like, cute? And I think a lot of times our senses are off because so many women, unfortunately, have I think turned off their intuition and turned off the things that make you feel like feminine, like those things inside you that you know. But I do feel like with men, there was a survey, about 200 men, and 200 of them said, I knew within the first 2 months if this woman was my wife. Like they knew right away. They knew right away, like, okay, this person is my wife. It did not take them that long. They didn't need to be told too many things. And I think it was very clear to them. I think a lot of times with women, there's a lot of times questions around like, oh, does he like me? Is he feeling me? What's going on? What's happening? And they're asking me a lot of these questions. And I'm like, well, it's very obvious, isn't it? It's very obvious. Like, if he's into you, it'll be clear. And if he's not into you, it will also be clear. And a lot of times, hey girl, how are you? And a lot of times when a man is not making things clear, it's because he's not clear about you. It's really straightforward. Like, I always tell women, pay attention to how a man moves. Like, his actions need to be consistent. They need to match step by step. Okay? If it does not go like this, one by one by one, if it's not adding up, it doesn't make sense. And that's what it is. That's your answer. I think it's just so interesting to me. Like, I tell people with my story, right? I tell people my husband was a hoe. Like, that was the truth. He was on the streets, okay? A month before me and my husband got together. Thank you so much, love. I appreciate it. A month before me and Eche got together, he told his parents, like, I'm not looking for any real relationship. He was like, don't ask me about it. Don't ask me if I'm getting married. I'm not getting connected anytime soon. I'm going to be on the streets doing my thing, okay? And then what was interesting was when we got together, and on our first date, my husband knew. He was like, "You're it." And mind you, he only was spending 2 weeks in Lagos. So like basically, he had to figure out like, okay, I'm here for 2 weeks. What are we gonna do? And he's like, okay, I want to spend more time with you. Like I want to connect more with you. And we spent 2 weeks getting to know each other. We went deep real fast. He gave me all his flaws. He's like, this is who I am. Like, just take it or leave it. And he was very clear. It took me a while to actually get clear if I wanted to move forward with my husband. That's the truth. But my husband, he was like, I knew right away. And my husband moved so quickly that when he hard launched me on Instagram, which I don't recommend, this was 2 weeks into us dating. This was around Valentine's, and he was so excited. Like he just put a video of me on Instagram. Girls who he was just talking to a month ago swarmed into his DM. Was like, "Oh, is that the bitch you've been hiding? Have you been hiding her all along?" You know, especially Nigerians, we're always hiding a wife somewhere. We're always hiding a wife somewhere. So they were like, "Oh, is that girl the girl you've been hiding? You've been with her all this time?" And my husband was like, no, like I literally just met her, but like I've decided this is it. Like that's how quickly it moved. And this was a man who never moved this quickly. He never moved like this ever. Okay. So I just tell people that like, honestly, like, yeah, you can pay and I could do a coaching call with you. That's cool. But the truth is you'll know. Okay. You will know. You will know. It will be clear. When I was dating my husband, I didn't have to ask nobody. I didn't have to phone a friend. I was very clear, right? I was very clear what was going on. He was moving with intention. Literally, he said this and that. When he said I was going to meet his parents, I met his parents first. And I always tell women, when you meet a man, meet his family first. Meet the queen bee of his family first, okay? Do not be saying, oh, introduce my, I don't know, why do y'all ladies do that? Like, give me, like, I want to know. I actually want to know. Why do ladies, like, quickly move a man to meet your parents? I don't get it. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. What has he proven to you? What has he shown you that he's worth meeting your parents? Okay? I was like, no, you're not meeting my father or my mother until I know what is going on between us, okay? And I met his mother first. I met his mother first. I met his father first. I met his siblings. I met his cousins. I met his aunts. I met all of those people before he even met one shred of my life. I met all his people first. Okay. So I never understand when women do that. I don't understand. And we get a little too giddy. We're like, oh, he's gonna meet my parents, and I'm like, and it, sometimes it works. I'm not going to sit here and say sometimes it does work, but a lot of times it does not work. Okay. I think the other thing that I think is very just interesting is that men are very straightforward. And I always find it interesting when women are like, oh, I'm confused, or he's sending me mixed signals and things like that. And when I now break it down and ask them, like, how is he sending you mixed signals? There are no mixed signals. He's quite clear. He's not that interested. Okay. So I feel like I just want to share that because I think someone said something about like love at first sight. I kind of went on a tangent, but let me get back to the real reason why we're here, because I think there's so many things. Hold on. I want to answer, and also y'all, please share your questions. Don't feel afraid to share. Someone says, how long into dating? When should you meet the partner? Oh, I think you meant parents. So I feel like a good like 4 to 6 months, and this varies based off of like age. Okay, so if you are like over the age 30 and like you're like this was all happening for me around 33, out 34. Okay, so I was a little bit, I wouldn't say older because 30 is not that old, but I was older. Okay. And because of that, we were kind of on this like accelerated schedule where basically my husband was like, okay, within a year, I want to propose to you. Okay. So I think within like 4 months, 4 to 6 months is very doable. It makes sense. And I think at that time you have enough information. By then you should be like, by the time you're meeting parents, it's because he has expressed to you, I want to marry you. Maybe you don't know when he's going to do the proposal, but he has expressed to you like, I'm ready to to move with you. I'm ready to do this life thing with you. He started making future plans. You know, he's talking about the future a lot. That is when you know, okay, it's time to meet the parents. I don't think what a lot of people also do is wait all the way to like the end. Or sometimes what I think is strange is when someone's like, they're engaged, they already started planning the wedding, maybe the day of the family dinner or something, like the night before the wedding. That's the first time they're meeting their parents. I think that's really off. That doesn't make sense to me. Why are you meeting the parents the day before the wedding? What about if you don't like the parents? And I'm not saying you need to fall in love with the parents to marry your man, but I think, in my opinion, we need to go back to the communal days, okay? The communal days and the community way of getting married was, you know, the family. The family knows you, you know the family, and there's someone involved. Now, they're not involved to the point where they are dictating every movement. My family, or my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, they're definitely not involved to the point where like they know things are happening day to day, but at least they're involved enough where if I was having a challenge, I could go to them and we can have a conversation. So I do think, you know, the family needs to know, they need to witness it. I think marriage is spiritual. I think weddings, the actual day of the wedding is spiritual. So I think like the families need to be involved. I think also even having friends, right? So this is another layer. Pay attention to the type of men that's around your man, okay? And this becomes very, very important once you get married. You know, during the dating stage, it's cute, and you're like, oh, his friends are cool, whatever, but you need to pay real attention. The reason why is because when things start to happen in your relationship and you need someone to get him together, put him back in the corner, because men will act out. They will do this, you know, for whatever reason. You need to know he has friends that is gonna move accordingly, okay? You don't want to be dealing with a situation where he doesn't have any friends that can call him to order. I know for me, like a couple of months ago, me and my husband were having a fight about something. And it seemed like a very simple situation, but it was enough for me to be like, no, this is an issue for me. And I was like, babe, I feel like your friend would actually call you to order. I feel like your friend would say, this thing you're doing is not right. And he was like, no, 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 no. I know my guy. I know my guy. Call him. I know he's gonna agree with me. I said, you sure? Because I know your friend. You know, even though I just met him, I know him, and I don't think he's gonna agree. And when I called his friend was like, nope, he's wrong. He's wrong. I'm gonna call him to order. His friend immediately called him and put him to order. Was like, check your situation. That's your wife. Move accordingly. I was like, yep. That's what I need. I need a man that's going to call him to order. So you need that. You need to know that you have a man that has friends that will call him to order. And also the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I think a lot of us been complaining. I saw a video recently where a girl was going on a rant and she was essentially saying, you know, I'm just tired of all these women giving us dating advice and keep sharing advice and keep sharing things and telling women to work on these things and things of that nature. And I'm just tired, you know, and when are the men going to do the work? Okay. So here's a theory. And if you feel like what I'm saying is off, say no. Say, chica, you off, okay? I don't think when men need that like healing, that therapy, I think men have to do it differently. I think they almost have to do it in like group settings, where I think women, we can kind of do like a one-on-one, like we're getting coaching or we're talking to that one friend or the one wise woman, and we kind of do that like in that way, and we share them our problems and then they give us insight and feedback. I don't think men work like that. I think men, they kind of need to be in a group setting and they need to see like all the men are moving in a certain way, you know. And I feel like when one man is like, oh, all of us are healing, all of us are getting therapy, all of us have this viewpoint, that's when the men start to make sense and they start to do their own healing, right? So the reason why I say to ladies, Kimmy K says, hi Chica, do you offer coaching? I do. I've kind of slowed down on it a bit because yeah, it gets very time consuming, but if you do need the coaching, send me a DM, I'll send you a link, okay? But anyways, I feel like men need to be in like group settings. They need to connect with other men, and they need like manly alpha men to like be in the room, because the difference between women and men is like, I think women do this thing of like, oh, there's a queen bee, there's an alpha girl. No, all of us are kind of the same. Now, there's some girls that have that girl energy, okay? And you know, I literally just launched a video on YouTube. So if you're on my YouTube, make sure to click the link. I literally just talked about becoming the woman of your dreams. So I do feel like there are women who are confident and are like, I'm that girl, you know, and they move with that energy. And I feel like I've done that. I feel like I'm doing that work of like, I enter the room, I'm like, yeah, I got it. You know, I'm looking good, you know. But I think with men, there's order. Okay, not all men are alpha men. That's the number one mistake a lot of women make. Not all men are alpha men. Go into a room where men are networking and pay attention to the energies, right? Funny enough, my husband, I'm still paying attention to what he is. I think he's a Sigma Alpha, right? So my husband's a Sigma in the sense of like he can kind of be a lone wolf and do his own thing. He's not. Sometimes he's like, I'm just doing me. I'm not looking for what other people are doing, you know. But sometimes my husband is Alpha and he's like, this is what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? He comes to the room, he tells the men, this is how we're moving, this is how we're doing, and we need to move accordingly. So my husband kind of switches back and forth between the two energies. But if you go into a room of men networking, you're going to see a man who's alpha. It's not necessarily about a physical thing, although he may have a broader shoulder. He may, you know, kind of come off like this. But really, what alpha men are they're just leading. They're like, this is what we're doing. And they're like telling people what it is and how it is and how to move accordingly. That is alpha men. Alpha men move very differently than Sigma men and beta men. And the truth is, ladies, there's a lot of beta men. There's a lot of beta men. There's a lot of passive men. That is real. That's the real issue in today's society, in today's world, in today's dating. The reason why women are frustrated is because the men are beta and they're moving like beta. Let me tell y'all a story. I'm gonna tell y'all a story. And this is the type of stuff that I'm like, what is going on? Like, so there is this guy who is my friend, my husband's friend, and he's in town for a wedding. And you know, I introduced him to my friend. Let's call my friend Abigail. I introduced him to Abigail, and Abigail's single, very lovely. Now, Abigail is very accomplished, okay? She's a beautiful woman. Oh, thank you for the roses. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So she's very beautiful. She's very accomplished. She's an executive. She's global. She travels. She's doing all the things, okay? And essentially, let's call him Sam. Oh, thank you for the flowers. None of your business. I appreciate you, sis. So essentially, and thank you, Dwayne Wilson. I appreciate it. Sorry, I'm getting all cast. So Sam and Abigail, let's talk about them too. Okay. So, so Sam is introduced to Abigail, and I see they're chatting it up at the wedding. And I was like, oh, good, okay. They're connecting. All right, like I'm feeling the energy. Even to the point where we left the wedding early. We went somewhere because we were like, we're actually hungry. So we went to a restaurant. It's crazy we left the wedding and we were still hungry. And we went to eat at this restaurant. And then Sam like calls my husband. He's like, where is Abigail at? And my husband's like, okay, I'll drop you at the restaurant that my wife's at because he's with Abigail. So Sam now leaves where he's at to go meet up with Abigail so that he could continue the conversation. So I'm thinking, okay, Sam and Abigail, they're feeling each other. They're cool. And I was like, okay, this is good. I like this. And they're also both from the same area, right, in Cali. So I was like, okay, this is great. This connection could work. Okay, y'all, this is where the nigga showed himself. This is where he became beta. And I just got irritated by the whole situation. So basically, the next day, Sam sends me a WhatsApp. And he was like, oh, what are the most affordable options I can take Abigail to? Where are some places that Abigail likes to eat? And I'm like, affordable and Abigail don't go hand in hand, okay? Abigail goes to the best restaurants in this city. So what do you mean? Like, so in my head, I'm like, this is not computing right. Affordable, it doesn't even work for me. Okay, you taking me to dinner, we're going somewhere nice. You're not taking me to an affordable spot. I can take myself to the affordable spot. You are taking me to a nice spot. Okay. So he's like, oh, can I call you, because I really want to talk about this. I said, fine, you can call me. So he calls me. And then he like goes on to say that like, oh, I don't do long distance, and basically because I don't do long distance, I'm gonna have to, I gotta taper her expectations of where I'm taking her, and I'm just trying to figure out a dinner. So my first thought to him was like, look, if you cannot do long distance and you've already made the decision before the first date or dinner y'all are supposed to do that it's not going to work, why are you taking her to dinner? She can afford her own meals. She's not looking for a free meal. I know some of y'all ladies are looking for free meals, and we're going to talk about that. That's a whole nother conversation. But but this girl's not looking for a free meal, okay? So I told him she's not looking for a free meal. So like, if you're talking about affordable, like, or you're saying you can't do long distance, I think you should either let her know or just not go. Like, because it's just not giving what it's supposed to give. And he was like, okay. And I told him, I'm gonna be honest with you, like, you're actually shutting it down because you never know. My husband literally lives in Cali and I was living in Nigeria. We were literally 8 hours apart in time zone difference, okay? My husband was just open to the energy of me, and we ran with it, and we now live in this beautiful home. I'm not gonna shift it too much, but we live in a beautiful home. We bought land, like, we're living our lives, okay? We're doing our thing. So I was like, why would you close yourself off to that possibility? Like, maybe there's a possibility this works. Maybe there's a possibility this is a great connection that you want to continue. And he was like, okay, I'll think about it. But yeah, for now, like, I just don't do long distance, and I'm not trying to move back to Nigeria. I said, okay, no problem. That's how he WhatsApped my husband the next day and says like, oh, can you send me the cheapest restaurants, like, cheap restaurants? And I was just like, so this is my thing, y'all. Like, it's not really about the cheap restaurants, right? Because I know people who have had beautiful love stories where their first date was at McDonald's or somewhere. Like, it's less to do with that, because like, actually my friend who they now have like a multi-million-dollar company. His first date with his wife was at McDonald's because she was in medical school. So I get that. I get sometimes that situation is oh, I just got a message I don't like from my husband. Okay. I'm gonna address him later. Anyways, anyways. What was I saying, y'all? So it's less to do with the cheap restaurant. I think for me, my challenge with this situation is that he keeps using the word affordable and cheap and the cheapest places and the most affordable places. So you're already branding my friend as cheap. You're already saying she's not valuable. She's not worth you putting some energy into investing. And then you kept saying, I don't do long distance, I'm just trying to have fun. So basically, you're trying to use my friend as a quick lick to your situation. You know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, I'm bored. I'm here in Nigeria for a few weeks. Let me just take this girl out for fun. Like, that's not the type of energy we want. We want the energy of men who are serious, who are ready to move forward. And I just don't understand. I don't understand it. So let me know, y'all, what y'all think of this story, if it makes sense. Someone says, not even trying to be impressive, mean and stingy energy. Yeah, it's like, yes, Kimmy K, you nailed it. It's stingy. It's I hate, and you know what it is? I detest stingy men. I detest it. I really do. I detest stingy men. Because I believe in a world of abundance. I believe anything's possible. I believe that I can get anything I want, right? Like, time is everything, but I will get there eventually. Like, I rarely look at something and say, oh, that's not attainable for me. So any man that has an energy of like stingy or lowering or anything like that, like, there'll be times my husband may be like, okay, this is our budget or this is what we can do. That to me makes sense, because we're being reasonable. But my husband likes to spend on me. Like, my husband's very reasonable. He makes sure that when we go on vacation, we do it well. He makes sure to like take me on vacation. I was away from him for like 4 weeks, and he took me on this amazing, very romantic dinner, and he spent some coin on it, okay? And my husband does those things. But my husband also is like, okay, we got really bad, we gotta adjust. Well, I don't mind that. But when you're stingy, that's a problem. That's a problem. When you're stingy, I always tell women, don't men who are not generous, it's an energy. Like when you're not generous, when you're not giving, it's an energy. And I feel like we as women will struggle with anybody who is stingy or not generous, or who counts every little thing they're doing. I'm gonna check back in with my friend. I'm curious if they've spoken, if anything has happened. But I was just like, I don't know. It's a no for me. It's a no for me. Speaking of that, another conversation I want to have, and I think it's a real conversation because it's opening my eyes to a lot of things. I don't think a lot of black men feel like this, but I think we should talk about it. So I recently created a YouTube video, and YouTube is where I give the long form deep dive into certain topics. And so the video I said, why are black women single? Like the raw truth. Why are black women having challenges dating? What is it? And I really broke it down, and I went into the systems and the real historical reasons why black women are having challenges. And I think two very interesting things came out of that conversation I had, because that comment section in the YouTube video was crazy, okay? Crazy. And I have never seen men comment on my social media channel like they did on this video. So the men were like, I got something to say. I think the first thing that was very interesting is that even though 76% of black men marry black women, only 30% of black people are getting married. That's a problem. That's a problem, y'all. That only 30% of us are getting married. Why? Like, what is going on? So I think that's something to highlight. But I think the bigger issue that's kind of concerning to me is that a lot of the black men who are commenting on my YouTube were saying they don't want to be with black women. One guy in particular went into detail. He said, "Well, I'm only with Latino women because Latino women, they agree, and black women are difficult." And another guy was like, "Black women don't know how to respect us, and black women were not taught how to connect with us," and all this blame on black women. And I think what's crazy to me about what I saw was, so what are you trying to tell me? Your mother didn't teach you nothing? So are you saying your mother doesn't know how to treat you respect? Your mother doesn't know how to, like, because all these men came from black mothers. So what is the disconnect? Someone said they want to suppress us like their mothers, like black. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was very interesting that there was quite a number of black men on that video that were like, they don't want to date black women. They don't see black women as attractive. They feel like black women have attitudes. They feel like black women are this and that. Like, I was very shocked. And it shows me there's a subset of black men in America that feel this type of way. So black ladies, I want to ask you, what do you think? What do you want to do? Comment in the chat. Like, how do you want to move when there's a bunch of black men that are not checking for you? And I say this because while this data shows that 76% of us will end up with black men, what that also shows is that 25, and to be honest, I think it's like close to 30-40% of black men are strong. And to be honest, it feels like it's growing in numbers. Like, it feels like more and more black men are having this weird disdain among black women. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's the programming. I don't know if it's the social media channels. I don't know if there's a bunch of black men that feel some type of way that black women are more educated than them. And I think there's some growing resentment of black women or black men feeling like, oh, like, who do you think you are? Like, it's very interesting. Someone says, what do we do as black single moms? So this is what I think. And if you watch, I think, so number one, if you are a black single mom, I think the best place you can watch and see how black men are approaching black single mothers is Pop the Balloon. That show, as crazy as Pop the Balloon is, and people be feeling some type of way about it, what I like about that show is it shows you in real time how the typical black person is thinking, right? And if you watch the last episode of Pop the Balloon, there were many, many black single mothers on that show. Lots of them. And I think it was interesting because they were having different interactions or different reactions to these black single mothers. So one thing about this is, I don't know who this person is. So one thing about this is like, there was one black girl in particular, and what was interesting about her, ladies, is she was bald like me, but she had a really beautiful body. Like, she had a really nice body, not like that BBL crazy body, but just a really cute shape. She was very articulate. She seemed very feminine, and the black men were looking for her. And at one point, she's like, "Oh, I have a 9-year-old son." And nobody was fazed by it. Like, nobody was like, "Oh, that's a problem." Like, everybody still could move forward because they were very interested in her. And I feel like it's kind of twofold. If you are a black woman that has a child, so I'm being very specific, a child, one, I don't think it's such a big hurdle for you to date. I think a lot of men are okay dating a black woman with one child. Okay. I don't think it's going to deter anybody. I think it's going to move forward. Look at Sierra. Okay. Sierra, had one child, and Russell was like, "I'm going to take him as my own. I'm going to run with it." I feel like when you have multiple children, that's where it gets a little tricky. And I think the issue is a lot of black women don't want to really reflect and say, "Oh, like, I have 2, 3 children. Most men don't want to take care of that because it's a burden. It's a financial burden. And unless you're with a rich person, someone's saying multiple children is a hell no. Unless you're with a man that has money or like earning 6 figures, then it gets a little bit easier, I believe, to find a man who, those type of men who are okay with taking that on because you have multiple children. So a perfect example, even though it ended in flames, was Fallon, right? When she was with Simon. I believe she had 3 boys before she connected to Simon, but Simon didn't mind because Simon had, he had money. I don't know if the money was real. That's a whole other story. But he had money, and so it wasn't a big burden for him to take on those children. But I feel like, most of the time, these single mothers are dealing with men who are barely passing by. So, like, you can't expect a man who's barely passing by to now take on your 2 kids that he didn't sign up for. And a lot of times you are a real single mother and you don't have that child support coming in to help, right? So I think we just got to be a little bit more mindful of those things. Now, I will talk about another option. Let me read some comments. Poetry Jam says, "I could understand if they're married and had children, then divorced." Yep, that is a very different type of path, which is the path my mom was on. So I'll talk about that version. But having multiple baby daddies, 3 or 4 kids, pretty much devalued the women. Yeah, I agree because I think what the signal it sends to men is like, you don't know how to think. Someone says, "Where are you from?" I'm Nigerian. I'm Nigerian American. So yeah, I feel like when you have multiple baby daddies, multiple kids, men just are like, "Oh, you're not good with decision making. You're not intuitive." Someone says Nigerians are classy. We are. We're trained well. I'm so glad you're speaking about this because it needs to be said. Yeah. Let's be honest. Like, the first thing a man is thinking is like, how did you allow this to happen multiple times? Like, it's one thing if you were with someone, you married them, divorced, and had kids. That's a very straightforward, easy situation. That was my mom's situation, right? My mom had 3 of us, got divorced, and she did remarry. But by the time she remarried, the guy was older, she was older. They weren't looking to have more kids. So it was very straightforward. They're like, "Okay, we have a blended family. We move on with our lives," right? I think the same thing with, let's say, it's like the Kourtney Kardashian situation, right? It was strange and, unconventional, but at the same time, she had 3 kids with Scott, and then she married her man, but number one, she's rich. And number two, she decided to be with one father and continue on, right? Which again, that makes sense. But when you have multiple baby daddies, and that typically is the situation for some of these black women, men can't compute that. And then they're like, oh, so like I gotta pay for these kids, and then I gotta do it with multiple men. Like, no, you know. Same with my dad. He was divorced. He got remarried to my mother. Yep. But my mom had a child from a previous relationship. Same with my dad. Yeah, and I think that blended families is quite beautiful and very straightforward. I just think when it's like all over the place, that's when men can't compute. And I think the same thing for women. You know, like women too. I don't think you should be with the man that has multiple baby daddies. And we're gonna talk about that. Splash Plus says, when I think multiple kids visually of her getting pumped by multiple thugs into my head. Okay, that's an extreme visual, but you know, that's what men are thinking sometimes, right? I appreciate your honesty. I really appreciate your honesty. But yeah, like I don't understand also too when women decide to end up with men with multiple baby mamas and they're like, oh, I'll be different or something will change for me. Hold on a second, y'all. My driver is here with my food, so y'all gotta hold on a second, okay? Are you going back? Okay, y'all. Okay, y'all held out. Thank you. My driver had to got me some food, so I might be munching with y'all. Do y'all mind if I eat? It's late over here. This is really big back behavior, but I did not eat enough. Basically, I did a real workout today, and I did not eat enough. Okay. I might not be able to eat the turkey with y'all. Someone says, "Girl, hold on." Someone says, "Girl, munch away." Thank you, thank you. Well, this is frozen, so I don't even know how much I can munch. But yeah, y'all, like I never like this whole Nick Cannon thing. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand how many women he got 8 or Cam Newton 3, 4. Like I will never understand women who are like I'm okay with being the third baby mama. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Again, but I do understand it from the perspective of some of these women see the situation as like, well, this is the best I get. This is the best I'm gonna get. This man got money. He'll take care of me. He'll take care of my child. And you know, it's crazy because I do feel like oh, this is really frozen. This is a pineapple orange. It's really good. Did you see the Cam Newton interview Did you see the Cam Newton interview with the woman therapist? Oh yeah, Dr. Bryant. Someone says, please don't drink on your live. What? What are you trying to tell me? I'm not drinking alcohol. That's what y'all think. It's kind of weird. But yeah, y'all, like, I don't know. So let me talk about this Cam Newton thing. Because I think it was very interesting. This Cam Newton thing I think was very interesting because my husband loved the interview. This must be from my husband. And he kept saying that my husband was like, you know what? That definition of low functioning behavior is the definition of Cam Newton and his situation. And I agree. He was operating and he's operating in a low functioning behavior. Y'all, that's a real thing. Some of these men are low functioning. They don't got nothing else going on. They don't know what to talk about. They're just all over the place. So we need to have more of those conversations. Oh, this is spicy. I might not be able to eat this. I'll choke. No, I'm gonna choke. This is spicy. Oh, this is spicy. I'm gonna have to wait. I'll do the live and then I'll eat because yeah, I'm gonna choke. But yeah, I think it's low function. I feel like his decision around having these kids, dealing with them, it doesn't make no sense. Because basically what you're telling me is, I know I have multiple women. and multiple kids all over the place, and I'll somehow figure it out. And yeah, they all live with me. That's not normal. That's not normal. Even if they all live with you, at some point they have to go to their mothers. And unless you get all the women together in one house, like a communal setting, like those Amish people or Mormon people, it doesn't work. It never works. I really don't understand it. I really don't. And I feel like in the Black community, we need to we need to start having higher conversations. Ooh, this is spicy, y'all. If you're Nigerian, this is native rice. It's tasty, but it's spicy. And it's like hitting the back of my throat. So, I'm trying, but I'm gonna have to wait. But it's tasty. Nigerian food is the best food in the world. Anyways, a lot of women put themselves in that Cam Newton situation. A lot of women do. Y'all hear this noise? It's all over the place. Anyways, I just feel like I love how you decide to drink in eye contact. I know, right? It's a skill I have, I guess. Ooh, K2 says, a lot of people are low function and don't know. Yeah, oh, if we could talk about that. Ooh. Can we talk about friends, y'all? I've had it actually makes me sad because maybe I'm the drama. You know that trending sound, like maybe I'm the drama. And I could be the drama. I can be dramatic. I can be. But I don't like drama. I think there's a difference. I can be dramatic, but I personally don't like drama. But well, first of all, y'all need to be liking the live. Please make sure to like this live. You here with me. You eating my food too. Make sure to show some love. And subscribe and like and follow. Do all the things, okay? Because I'm enjoying this time with y'all. And I'll do more lives as well. I'm going to make sure I connect with y'all more in this matter because I do like it. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people who are low functioning and don't want to admit they're low functioning. I've definitely lost a few friends in the past few years because of the low functioning element. And I think one of the main things for me is not realizing that I was around friends who were considered low functioning. And you know, I'm self-aware enough to know I don't believe I'm low functioning. I think I'm a hybrid. You know, I think I have my moments that I am maybe considered more the low function, you know, because I think all of us are dealing with trauma. You know, I'm definitely dealing with my own traumas. I'm dealing with things. I'm dealing with, you know, I could be petty. You know, I'm dealing with all those things. I feel like that is key. But I think the one key thing that I know about myself, and this is why I have dedicated my life to personal development and teaching women and even talking to men, because I talk to men too, whether y'all believe it or not. I've had at least a couple of my male friends go to therapy because of me. So, you know, a lot of times y'all think I'm just talking at women. No. Now, I think men need to talk to men. So I do think men need to help each other out. But I do privately, I talk to my male friends and I tell my male friends, y'all, you need to do therapy. And I give them a therapist and I'm like, go do your therapy, okay? But I also feel like there's just a lot of low functioning people that are around you. And the way you know someone is low functioning is their energy. Like whenever you spend time with this person, do you like get filled up with joy when you're hanging around with this person, or are they draining your energy? Like is everything being sucked out of you every time you hang with this person? And you know, I was just thinking about like the other day after a wedding, I went out with my girls and like time passed by, you know, like before you know it was 2 a.m. and we were laughing and we were gisting and we were joking and we were having a good old time, you know? And that's how I know I'm with high functioning friends because of that, right? Versus like low functioning friends where sometimes it's not their energy, but sometimes they're doing things where you're like, oh, I know you're copying me, or I know you're jealous of me. And y'all, this is the thing, like, and I'm really trying to learn that this, this is probably the hardest lesson of my life I'm learning, because I don't believe I get jealous of people. I really don't. I personally look at, like, I can look at someone, like, I'll give you a perfect example. Even though we're not really the same type of creator, I think she's a different type of creator. Um, but I think she's a creator that a lot of people know, so she's a good example. So, Janae Naylor, right, or High Low Lux, you may know her as on YouTube. So obviously she's hitting it. She just did an interview with Law Roach. Like, she's doing her thing, and she's getting the recognition, she's getting the flowers she deserves, and she's been in the game for years, right? And I can see, I look at her and I'm inspired. I'm like, oh, I gotta step on next. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. I gotta step up here. I gotta step up there. And I remember meeting her in person recently, and I came up to her and I said, thank you. Like, I wanna thank you. I was in your membership. I learned so much from you. And I'm just enjoying seeing you on this journey. And that's how I feel about people. Like, when I see someone killing it and doing their thing, I don't get jealous. Like, I don't sit there and be like, oh, why her? Or why not me? Like, I'm like, and me. There's a difference. And me. Meaning she can get it and I can get it too. That's my energy. My energy is not, yeah, and her spirit, like, she's actually nice in person. There are some creators I met and they're kind of funny. She's actually genuinely warm in person. She was there for hours talking to every single person, connecting with her. Oh, someone said I saw her last night at the Howard Theater. Yeah, I'm so upset. I did not. That I would have loved to go to that. I would have loved to go to that. But I'm currently out of the country. But yeah, she's a warm person, and the conference I saw her at recently, she spoke to every single person. She hugged everybody. She took pictures with everyone. She answered everyone's questions. Like, just genuinely loving person. I think that's why she's doing what she's. I think that's why she's achieving what she's achieving, because of that. But y'all, I've had been around some people that want my life, and like Oprah said, you can't be friends with people that want your life. You cannot. If they want what you have, it won't work. And it's funny because sometimes I get cool with someone and they're in a whole different field than me. And I would have never think for a second that they want what I got. But then they either start copying me, or they start being shady, or they start doing things. And it's just interesting because it's like, if you get to know me, you would know I will give you everything. Like, that's how I am. Someone says, what does wanting your life look like? Okay, I'll give you a very simple example. And I'm seeing this unfold in real time in my life, actually. So essentially, there was a friend who I shared with her, this dream of being a content creator. And I actually wanted to work with her because I felt like she's a good behind the scenes person. She's an operator. I felt like we could be a great team together building this brand. Now, obviously, I would be front facing, but I felt like she was going to be that person to help me. And then she was like, yeah, share with me your docs and all the things. And so I'm sharing her docs, and I'm thinking, like, we're about to build something. And then all of a sudden she started copying my Instagram reels. Like, she kept, like, I would do certain reels and then she would do the same type. And why I knew it was off was because she's not a content creator. She doesn't talk about the topics I talk about. So I was like, why? Like, that specific reel or video does not make sense on your page, because you don't talk about those things. So, like, I'm sure some people are liking it, but most people are probably like, this is not adding up for me. Like, this doesn't make sense. And I noticed she kept doing things like that. I think another example of someone who wants your life, or, jealous of you, because sometimes it's just pure jealousy, is, I'll never forget this, and it's a story I tell everybody, because it was in my face and I ignored it, because, again, I genuinely believe in, like, being good to people. I give people the benefit of the doubt, like, unless, like, your energy reads funny from the beginning, but most of the time I try to give people the benefit of the doubt. So this person in particular, we're at a wedding, and I've been bald for about 8-9 years. Okay, I've been bald for some time. And this person in particular knows why I'm bald. Like, I'm not bald because of, like, an aesthetic. I'm bald because I lost somebody, right? And so this is my way of honoring that person. And so she had the audacity to essentially say to me, we're at a wedding. There was a man that was kind of like, feeling me, and all night he made sure I had drinks, and he just kept checking in on me and just making sure like I was doing my thing and all that. And so at some point she's like, well, you only reason why you get men like this is because you bald. And I my first response to her was like, but I get men any type of way. What do you mean? When I had hair, when I don't have hair, when I'm completely bald, when I have a bust down here down my back, okay, I get men. I've always had men. And I'm not even bragging. Like men have always been attracted to me. Men see me as feminine. I don't have issues getting men. Even to this day, as a married woman, men approach me. So I remember hearing that comment, and I wasn't offended because I just genuinely, at first I was like, oh, that's an interesting comment, but I didn't think too much of it. But when we ended our friendship, I was like, oh, you were jealous of me. That's what that was. That's what that situation is. And ladies, I'm going to say something that may sound so random, so off, but I got to say it because I'm learning it's a thing. If you know you're a beautiful woman, like if you know you're pretty, and make sure to share this live, y'all. Share this live because I do think this is something people need to hear. If you know you are a pretty woman and you know that you are consistently being told you're pretty, you've been consistently being told you're beautiful, like you just know. Like, and I'm not saying, oh, you're not sure. Like, I'm not talking about those women because that's a different story. I'm talking about without a shadow of the doubt, you're a beautiful woman, right? Like, that. And I know for me, it took a while to understand this about myself, okay? I was, I've always been told I'm pretty, I'm beautiful, but I never like took it that deep. Like I never was like, oh, look at me. I was just like, oh, okay, thank you. I would blush. I'd be like, oh, like I would be like, oh, okay, thank you. Like I'm always like that. I'm always like weird when people do that for me. But now that I'm at the age, and I'm 36, y'all, thank you so much. Now that I'm 36, I'm like, oh, I'm a beautiful woman, and I gotta be careful. Because there's gonna be some people that are just irritated that I'm pretty. There are gonna be some women who are just irritated that I'm a beautiful woman. There's gonna be people who just feel some type of way. Like, damn, you pretty, damn. Like, what's up with that? Like, people, like, literally, like, there's no other reason. There's no other reason. You have not even opened your mouth. You have not even said anything. And people are like, I feel some type of way. That's not fair. Why she look like that? And that's what they're thinking in their head. They will never say that to you publicly. And I know this now, and I'm more cognizant. I'm not saying the word correctly today. I'm more aware of it now because I'm told every day of my life I'm beautiful. When I decide to step outside, somebody's saying I'm pretty. And so I'm now more aware that I have to be mindful of the type of people, type of friends, type of connections I have. Oh, thank you, love, for saying it. I'm dyslexic, so sometimes it doesn't come out right. But I'm more aware that because of the way I look, I'm going to just have way more haters. Way. It's a burden. It's a burden. Thank God I look good. Thank the Lord for making me look pretty. I don't regret it. I don't, it's nice. But it's a burden. It is because there's going to be people that you're like, why don't they like me? Like you're literally like, I know I'm nice. I know I was warm to you. What happened? And I have to sometimes now think, oh, maybe because of the way I look. A lot of women in science started talking about this. Yeah, and I would love for you to share more about this because it's crazy to me. Like it's so crazy to me how I'll just have people who they just don't like me. Okay, someone says, can you talk body care? Your skin is so nice. Neck down, your skin is very smooth looking. Thank you. If you click my link in my LTK shop, I literally just, funny enough, it's so funny you say this. I literally just added my body care picks for the Amazon Prime sale. There's a big sale on Amazon going on. I'm not even trying to cap. There's a big sale. 50% off, 30% off your favorites, okay? I literally created a curated list of my body care. Scrubs, what you use to wash your face off, body lotions, just different, getting you glowing for the year. Okay, 30% to 50% off. Go to my LTK; it is right there. Okay, click the link and get you the products. It's only a 2-day sale, so make sure you get it. And yeah, I literally just, because people always comment about my skin. So I was like, oh, let me put together a body care, top picks, and then y'all can go ahead with it. Okay, so let me read this one because this is very juicy to me. Hi, and it's Anshel. Hello. So women pick on other women for caring about their looks. Men treat these women like they don't belong in intellectual spaces. The movement as a whole is what a scientist looks like, and a small section includes, attractive women in science. Thank you so much. Hold on, who is this that's sending me gifts? Trent Jackson. Thank you, love. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yes, yeah. So, it's so funny. And this is another conversation that I feel like is so important. So I remember back in 2011, I wrote an article about how Kim Kardashian has wielded her looks to become the mogul she is today. And I predicted this. I literally wrote this article in 2011. I predicted it because I'm my thing in life is I'm a manifester. Manifestors are people who they tell you the trend, they predict the trend, they know where the puck is moving. And so I looked at Kim Kardashian and I said, this woman is literally going to wield herself into the next level with her looks. She's going to use her looks as this powerful thing, and she's going to become the next it, okay? This woman has wielded her looks to become a billionaire, basically. I don't care if you don't like her. There are people going to be like, no, I don't like her. I feel some type of way about her. No problem. I get it. I understand it. But the truth is, she has used her looks to go all the way up to a private equity fund. How many people have a private equity fund? How many? Let's be honest, y'all. How many people have a private equity fund? So I talked about this, and I wrote an article, and I just pretty much broke this down. And this was, like I said, in 2011, before anyone knew anything. She just had a show. She didn't have nothing else going on. She did not have Skims. She did not have any products. She didn't have nothing. But I was like, I know this woman is going to do what she wants to do. And it's interesting because the other day I was thinking about her, and I was like, she kind of fell off. Like, I don't hear about Kim no more. It's almost like Kanye kind of upped her a bit, bumped her up, and then, like, I don't know. It's almost like the moment she divorced Kanye, like, she kind of lost relevance. It's interesting. I don't know. Maybe she'll find a way to resurgent herself. But yeah, ladies, like, I think what I want to say is wield your looks. If you look good, use it to your advantage. Don't be shy. Use your looks. Use it. It does more harm, it does more good than harm. Someone says, is this a safe environment? Yes, it is. It's always safe here. What are your thoughts on a guy with a girlfriend that asks me out? It's a no. It's a no. It's a no, 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 no. I don't know if you're young, so maybe that's why this question is a thing, but he has a girl. It's not your business. It's not your problem. I don't care. No, it doesn't matter because he's going to do that to you. He's going to do that to you, literally. I literally, if you go on Netflix, there's a bunch of Nollywood or Nigerian movies. And I love Nollywood movies. They be corny sometimes, but they be telling you a real story. And in the movie, that actually reminds me of that show I got to watch. I'm going to watch my show and eat after this. But basically, the guy left his girl he was with for 7 years to another woman, right? And essentially, he will do the same thing to you. That's what always happens. Like, ladies, if a man has no respect, wait, what just happened to the live? Oh, now with it making me fill out a puzzle in the middle of a live. That's so strange. Um, if a man like is basically on some like, hey, let's do something together, he has a woman, why do you think he won't do that to you? What? So this is the thing, ladies, and again, these are real conversations we don't want to have. What about you so special that he can't do that to you? Like, what? It don't. I don't care if you have the bombest thing in the world. I don't care if you have the bombest kitty cat in the world. There's nothing special about you that's gonna make him not leave. And in fact, that is a big red flag. You want a man that's loyal. You want a man that it don't matter what happens. You want a man that it don't matter what happens, he's with you. My husband, I mean, God forbid, like something could happen. I don't know. Like life is life, you know. But my husband is like, I'm with you. Like I'm not going nowhere. He's like, you could kill somebody. I'd be like, where's the body? Where do we bury the body? That's how my husband is. It's like, he's like, I'm with you. I'm with you. And what I love about my husband is, and it's annoying and frustrating, but it is the truth because men be looking, men be looking, and my husband be like, oh yeah, she, they men always are looking. Like it don't matter if they're married for 100 years, they're always looking. But my husband's like, there's no other woman that can just like, he's like, if another woman takes me away from you, like just I'm gone. Like something has gone terribly wrong. He was like, someone has drugged me. Okay? Because that's not me. That's not how I move. So I think, ladies, like if a man is tempted to talk to you and he has another woman, what you really need to ask him is like, why are you leaving? What's the problem? What's the issue? What's happening? Where are you going? Ask him, where are you going? Where are you going? Okay, you come to me. So what happened? So okay, when the next woman comes that's prettier and younger, you're gonna go to her too. Like what's the pattern? And he's gonna tell you a story. Oh no, you this. No. No. And like I'll say this, right? In fact, right now there's a married couple we're counseling because they're having a rough time. And my husband's like, look, there's nothing out here on these streets. There's nothing out here on these streets. So don't be confused. Don't be confused. Don't just, and the other guy's showing other girls he's seen and and maybe those women are more feminine and whatever. Maybe those women have something better to offer at the moment. But like y'all, I'm gonna leave y'all with this because I need to eat. But the way marriages work, in my opinion, is there's a layering. There's a deep, like think of marriage like this. All these tentacles and they're connecting. There's a connectivity. And it's almost like they're bonded like this, okay? And the connectivity is so many layers. It's the physical is one layer. The attraction is one layer. The chemistry is another layer. But the layer that cements everything, and I think it makes my husband think twice before he does things that are stupid, is he's like, this girl is my best friend. There's like today we were talking, he was like, we make such a good team. And men, when they feel comfortable like that, they're not trying to go nowhere. They're really not. They like, I could talk to this woman every day. We be vibing, we be flowing. She just understands me, she gets me. We're just in it together, like we're in it. Like when men get like that, they're not trying to leave. So if a man is trying to quickly leave you like that, that's a problem. And that means he didn't do the right filtering, and you didn't do the right filtering. But anyways, y'all, let me go. I need to eat. It was fun hanging with y'all. I had lots of fun with y'all. I'm going to come back on Thursday, or maybe tomorrow. But let's see how my life is. Okay, bye y'all.